Imagine spending years trusting a mentor, like a guide who stands shoulder to shoulder with you against these just unimaginable cosmic horrors.
Right, someone who literally teaches you how to save the world.
Exactly. You trust her
Right.
implicitly. And then slowly, this creeping realization dawns on you that she might actually be orchestrating your doom. So, welcome to the deep dive.
It really is the ultimate betrayal of trust. And well, what makes it so deeply unsettling is that it weaponizes our own inherent reliance on authority. Like, we are just conditioned to follow the guide, you
We
know?
really are. And today we are tearing into this massive theory, detailed in a video essay by the YouTube channel Talkative Try. It explores the dark, hidden underbelly of Path of Exile lore.
Yeah, and frankly, you don't even need to care about Wraeclast or, video game mechanics to understand why this matters.
Yeah. Oh, not at all. I mean, this is a masterclass in unreliable narrators, the psychology of institutional power, and how historical records get manipulated by the people in charge. So our mission today is to put Zana Caeserius, the master cartographer, on trial. Is this beloved, pristine guide secretly the ultimate villain?
The philosophical stakes here are just fascinating to me because, well, the most terrifying antagonists in any medium, they aren't the ones who act out of pure malice or evil.
Right.
They're the ones who are burdened by what they believe is ultimate responsibility. Like, they operate under this catastrophic weight of the greater good.
Yeah, they're convinced they're the only ones capable of making the monstrous choices required to maintain order. It's like a lead surgeon firing her entire surgical team for severe malpractice, right?
Sure, yeah.
But then you find out she actually locked them in the operating room for a week without food, and now she's pointing to their frantic, starved behavior as proof that they were always unfit to operate.
Wow. That is an incredibly sharp way to frame it.
Mhm.
She controls the environment, and by doing that, she controls the narrative of their collapse.
Exactly. And to understand how she pulls this off, we have to look at the environment itself. Because, I mean, you and I both know the Atlas of Worlds is a literal meat grinder for sanity.
Well, absolutely.
It's not just a dangerous physical location, it is an environment that systematically dismantles the human mind.
And the source material is really adamant about this mechanism. The Atlas is this realm of profound cognitive corruption because it actively preys on ambition. It's like a mirror that reflects and distorts a visitor's deepest desires. We see the most hardened, resolute figures in this universe. Marauders, Templars, assassins.
Toughest of the tough.
Right, and their minds just inevitably fracture simply by traversing these realms. The eldritch corruption is ambient, like it's woven into the very fabric of the reality they are stepping into.
Which, brings us to the massive, glaring anomaly standing right in the center of the room.
Zana herself.
Zana herself. I mean, she is the daughter of the Shaper, another major lore figure. She has spent her entire life immersed in these maps.
Yeah, she deciphered her father's memories from within the Atlas.
Right, she constantly interacts with its energies. She essentially lives at the map device, and yet she doesn't have a single scratch on her psyche.
It's wild. She is positioned as this singular, incorruptible anchor in a sea of madness. I mean, during the earlier Elder Saga, she's the one who deduces that the cognitive decay isn't just coming from the Elder himself, but from the Atlas as a whole.
She maps the corruption.
Yes, she maps it, she diagnoses it in others, but she remains completely insulated from it.
But wait, I have to challenge the premise that the game feeds us here. Like, how is that biologically or psychologically possible?
Well, that's the million-dollar question.
Right.
Huh.
If you are standing in a highly radioactive exclusion zone for decades, handling raw uranium with your bare hands, you don't just get to walk away completely fine because you have a strong will.
Exactly. It doesn't make sense.
Everyone else's DNA is unraveling, and she's just standing there telling us we look a little pale. There has to be a mechanism behind her supposed sanity, or, the narrative is hiding something. And that mechanism is exactly what sets up a really terrifying power dynamic. Because whether she is genuinely immune or simply, remarkably resistant, the outcome is the same.
Which is what?
She appoints herself the ultimate arbiter of sanity. Because she is the established authority, she becomes the diagnostic tool for everyone else's mental state.
Oh, man. Which is a massive structural conflict of interest. I mean, if she is the sole authority on who is corrupted, what happens when her expert diagnosis is completely fabricated? Who is left to second-guess her?
Nobody. Literally nobody. Until the Conquerors of the Atlas endgame expansion, which introduced a narrative that completely upends everything we thought we knew about her authority.
Okay, so let's look at Xana's official report on her former companions. She gives us the rundown on this group known as the Elder Slayers. That's Baron, Veritania, Alhesman, Drox, and Sirus.
The original Dream Team. Right. So she tells us they successfully trapped the Elder, but the victory cost them their minds. According to Zana, they went completely blood mad.
They supposedly became addicted to the power of the Atlas.
Yeah, returning over and over to wipe out entire worlds just to satisfy this new, unquenchable thirst for violence. So, she plays the tragic, self-sacrificing hero and claims she had to seal the exits. Like, she locked her friends inside to protect our world.
And honestly, it is a perfectly constructed narrative because it leverages her established credibility so well.
It really does.
She frames this preemptive imprisonment as a terrible, agonizing burden that she was just forced to bear. And because she has been the reliable guide through the labyrinth for years, the instinct is to believe her without question. You trust the institution.
Until the institution's victims start dropping receipts.
The journals.
Yes, we team up with a new character, Kirak, who rebuilds the map device to save his brother Baron, who is one of the very Conquerors Zana locked away. So we start hunting down these so-called mad gods, and when we defeat them, they leave behind their journals.
Their own written testimonies.
Exactly, and let me tell you, these journals completely shatter Zana's timeline. So what does this all mean? Like, is Zana just misremembering? Is the Atlas messing with her mind? Or is she actively lying to the listener, the player?
Well, this is where we have to act as historical investigators. Because if we synthesize their testimonies, we don't see a group of people who simply fell victim to ambient corruption.
Right?
No, we see a spectrum of acute psychological trauma that is entirely consistent with sudden, inexplicable captivity.
Okay, let's track that trauma, because the progression is undeniable. Let's look at Veritania. Zana claims they lost themselves to mindless bloodlust, yet Veritania's journals reveal this hyper-lucid self-awareness.
She was actively studying the Atlas's effects.
Yes, intentionally resisting its pull. She documented her companions' slow descent into paranoia after they realized they were trapped.
Her testimony is just so crucial because it introduces cognitive dissonance into Zana's story. I mean, if Veritania was hyper-aware and actively resisting the corruption while locked inside, it fundamentally breaks the causal link Zana established.
She didn't lock them up because they were mad.
Exactly. Zana didn't lock them up because they were mad.
Yeah.
Veritania was perfectly sane when the doors locked.
She was essentially the designated driver of the group, completely sober, just watching the exits get bricked up from the outside.
It's horrifying.
And you see the coping mechanisms fracture differently across the rest of the group based on that betrayal. Like, Drox turned to obsessive kingdom building, which actually makes psychological sense.
Right, he was trying to create order out of their endless confinement.
Yeah, and Alhesman's arrogance mutated into severe paranoia. Again, entirely logical when you realize your most trusted ally just entombed you.
And then there is Baron, Kirak's brother. I mean, his early entries are eloquent and deeply tethered to reality.
He writes about his lost love, right?
Yeah, he writes desperately about her, plotting ways to return to Wraeclast. It is only when the realization of Zana's betrayal sets in, when he realizes the map device didn't just break, but was intentionally sealed. That is when his mind shatters.
He spirals into religious zealotry.
Exactly, framing their imprisonment as some divine punishment he must endure.
So the timeline is entirely flipped. The madness wasn't the catalyst for the imprisonment.
The imprisonment was the catalyst for the madness.
It is institutional gaslighting on a cosmic scale. It's like locking someone in a tiny closet, throwing away the key, and then when they inevitably start screaming and banging on the door, you point at them and say, "See? I had to lock them up. They're completely unhinged."
That is exactly what she did. And the ultimate tragic proof of this mechanism is Sirus, the Awakener of Worlds.
Oh, Sirus.
Because Sirus is the emotional core of this cover-up. His relationship with Zana was different. He didn't just fight alongside her, he loved her.
He loved her enough to make the ultimate sacrifice. I mean, he absorbed the brunt of the Elder's sealing process. And his journal describes the aftermath. For an immeasurable amount of time, he felt trapped in this glass-like state.
A literal sensory deprivation nightmare.
Yeah, where he could only watch his companions. And he watched Zana, the woman he gave everything for, simply walk away and seal the door.
Now, according to Zana, Sirus became the most dangerously unhinged of them all. But if you analyze his journal, you don't find the ravings of a lunatic.
No?
You find an absolute void. He experienced a profound disassociation. The psychological weight of total isolation, coupled with the ultimate betrayal by the person he loved, it just eradicated his connection to humanity.
But wait, I have to jump in here. Are you saying Sirus wasn't actually insane when he threatened to burn down the world? Because, I mean, bringing an apocalypse to Oriath seems pretty unhinged.
Well, he was broken, undoubtedly. But he wasn't mad in the chaotic, corruptive sense that Zana described as her justification for locking him away.
Oh, I see.
He became empty. He saw the universe as meaningless because his internal universe had been emptied out by Xana's betrayal.
Wow.
She preemptively struck out of fear of what he might become, and in doing so, she manufactured the exact monster she claimed to be protecting the world from. It is a total self-fulfilling prophecy.
That is incredibly dark. So she triggers their psychological collapse through isolation and then uses that very collapse to retroactively justify the isolation.
Exactly.
But, let's bring this back to the listener. Because you aren't just an observer in this lore. You are the current variable in Xana's equation. Just look at what you are doing in the endgame right now.
This is where the narrative genius of the game truly shines. You, the player, are mirroring the exact behavioral patterns of the Conquerors.
Down to the letter. I mean, you are diving into map after map. You are hoarding unimaginable wealth, slaying pantheons of gods, collecting rare items, amassing power that rivals the Shaper himself.
You're clearing out entire worlds.
Yeah. So to a paranoid warden who sees ambition as a precursor to madness, what do you look like?
You look like patient zero for the next apocalypse. I mean, if her threshold for sealing away her closest friends was simply that they were getting too powerful and spending too much time in the Atlas.
I have long since crossed that line.
Exactly. You are actively becoming the very thing she fears most.
The video essay pulls a line of Xana's dialogue that completely shifted my perspective. And it's chilling when you view it through this lens.
Oh, the Sirus aftermath line.
Yes. After you do her dirty work and put down Sirus, after his obliterated body is lying right there at her sheet, she gives you this mysterious apology. And then she asks, but at least you're done now, right, Exile? You'll leave the Atlas alone, right?
It is framed as a hopeful plea, but functionally it is a threat assessment.
Totally.
She is measuring your compliance. She is testing to see if the addiction has taken hold. And the reality of your actions is that you don't leave.
Nope, you keep mapping.
You keep grinding for more power. You completely defy her plea.
Which turns her iconic catchphrase into something straight out of a psychological thriller. I mean, throughout your entire journey, every time you return to your hideout, she asks, still sane, Exile?
Right.
I always took that as friendly banter, like checking in on a coworker after a tough shift. But now, she isn't asking how your day was. She is running a diagnostic.
Still saying Exile is the sound of the Warden checking the structural integrity of your cell door.
Oh my God.
She is calculating the exact moment she needs to slide the deadbolt. She is constantly evaluating your utility against your threat level.
That literally gives me chills. But okay, let me play devil's advocate for a minute here. Are we suggesting Xana is fundamentally evil? Is there a theory that she's actually some sort of eldritch horror wearing a human suit, secretly corrupted by the nightmare of the Atlas and just manipulating everyone for a dark god?
I mean, people theorize that, but it would be so one-dimensional. And the brilliance of this analysis is that it completely rejects that trope.
Okay, so how does it explain her?
Well, the source essay argues strongly against Zana being evil incarnate, and all the psychological evidence we've discussed supports this. She isn't operating out of malice. She isn't secretly corrupted. She is operating under the catastrophic weight of her own self-imposed duty.
The terrifying burden of the visionary.
Exactly. Consider her lived experience. She has witnessed the Atlas consume her father's mind. She watched the Elder almost annihilate reality. She has seen the most powerful beings in existence fall to corruption.
She has a lot of trauma.
So much trauma. And because of it, she genuinely, deeply believes she is the only sentient being with the moral fortitude to make the impossible, horrific choices required to keep Wraeclast safe.
So the tragedy of Zana Caeserius is that her unyielding sense of righteous duty has just entirely stripped her of her empathy.
Yes.
When she inevitably turns on you and the theory posits her as a highly probable future Uber endgame boss, she won't do it with a sinister laugh. She will do it with a heavy heart, utterly convinced that you are the monster that must be put down for the greater good.
And from a structural standpoint, the game has already laid the logistical groundwork for this betrayal. Remember Kirak.
The character who helped rebuild the map device to find his brother.
Precisely. His introduction wasn't just narrative flavor, it was a mechanical smoking gun.
Oh, because he took over the logistics.
Yes. Now that Kirak is positioned to run the map device and handle the logistical mechanics of opening portals, Zana is no longer tethered to her role as the necessary, friendly NPC.
Wow, she has been freed from the sidelines.
She can step away from the map device, wield the raw architectural power of the Atlas, and drop the cage on you without breaking the core gameplay loop.
Man, it is a stunning piece of narrative design. We started this deep dive exploring what it means to trust a guide. A mentor who literally helps you navigate the darkest corners of reality.
And by peeling back the layers.
Yeah, by reading the hidden journals of the people she threw away, we uncover a massive institutional cover-up. The reliable narrator was the Warden all along.
It forces this really necessary discomfort on the audience. I mean, how often do we accept the official history simply because it is delivered by a familiar, authoritative voice?
All the time.
Right. And the introduction of the Conquerors journals shatters that passive consumption. It demands that you triangulate the truth from the margins, from the voices that have been silenced, locked away, or dismissed as mad.
It is a powerful reminder that history is curated by the one who holds the keys to the prism.
Beautifully said.
Which leaves you with a haunting question to ponder as we wrap up today. We've spent all this time dissecting Xana's fear of power and the Conqueror's tragic, isolated fall. But I want you to turn that lens inward. Think about your own ambitions. In whatever field you are climbing, whatever passion you are pursuing, if the relentless pursuit of greatness always looks indistinguishable from madness to the people watching from the outside, at what point in your own ascent do you cross that invisible line? When do you stop being the hero of your own story and become the monster in someone else's?
Still sane, exile.
We'll leave you to think about that one.